like and subscribe. What is the most ridiculous thing you were bullied over, and what prompted the bullying? I was bullied because my dad died. Kids can be cruel. This is sort of in the same vein, but a kid at my elementary school was bullied because he was bald. Because he was going through treatment for leukemia that he died from the next year. Kids are ruthless savages in large numbers. One time in 3rd grade I farted really loud during silent reading time. Some kid nicknamed me Farticus, and it stuck for the rest of elementary school. Someone bullied my sister in school because they thought she acted too manly. This then led to me being bullied for having a smaller than my sister. School can be an interesting place. Got bullied for being fat after I lost 16 kilograms over the summer. At the time I was 5 feet 4 and 59 kilograms. Definitely not fat, and the kids who bullied me all weighed more than me. Also got called a slut for not having had a BF yet when I was 15. My classmates were dumb. Being respectful to the bully's dad. He started bullying me after that. When I stood up for myself he said, "I know I can't take you in a fight, so I'll just stab you." And showed me the knife. I have a cat without a whole tail. Yay, they made fun of me 'cause of my cat. Life can be weird. That you can't see my upper eyelids easily when my eyes are open. They just get kinda shoved under my eyebrows and hidden out of the way. I was called a freak and a mutant for having hooded eyes. I don't even. I was the poor kid at an expensive private school populated predominantly by privileged white kids. My parents worked really hard to afford the tuition and we didn't have money for much else. Clothes came from Walmart, and shoes came from Payless. The school also did a thing where twice a year, they would haul out everything in Lost and Found, and display it for a week in the gym during lunch, so you could claim anything that was yours. This week was followed by Lost and Found Garage Sale Week, where any unclaimed items from the week before could be purchased by anyone for 25 cents. In 5th grade, the fashion craze for guys was a brand called Z. Cavarixie. If you wore any pants other than caps, you were heckled mercilessly for being poor. I begged and begged my mom to buy me a pair, just one pair, that I promised to wash every night and wear again the next day. I don't know how she pulled it off, but she got me a brand new pair. I almost hated removing the tags, because it was the only new name brand item of clothing I had ever owned in my life up to that point. I was so excited to wear them the next day. I imagined finally being accepted by the rich guys, or at least no longer being heckled for being poor. I didn't have to wait long, because as soon as I entered the classroom, I heard one of the kids whisper to his friends, "Dude, check it out, Reasonable Reindeer is wearing caps." I must have had the most smugly satisfied expression a 5th grader can have. But it was short-lived, because his friend quickly offered an explanation. "I think those are mine. He probably bought them from Lost and Found for a quarter." I have never gone from feeling so elated to so devastated in my life. And I never asked my mom for anything expensive again. Because I was listening to music in a school break, like literally. I can't listen to music. My surname is Holmes. In primary school they'd call me homeless. My surname is Holmes. No. Sherlock. My nose. It is wider than the average Western nose. I'm part Thai, part Indonesian. They used to call me Stop Contact equals WALL socket in primary school. Strawberry cream cheese on my badge. 2nd or 3rd grade. Even at that age I was baffled. I was bullied in middle school because I'm the first kid in school that had 120s Crayola. It was an all-rich Catholic school, and I was known to be the poor kid, and they didn't like the fact my grandma could get me that much Crayola lol. I still remember this clearly. When I was 4 years old, 2009, I used to be bullied over my hairstyle. My hair was quite long at the time, so my mom would pull off awesome hairstyles. When I started at the preschool, would go down, Guys would bully me for having a man bun as it was feminine, and would go as far as vandalizing my stuff, to a point where a few kids were expelled after cutting up my bun, and cut my t-shirt to a point where the school had to give me a proprietary t-shirt, and was held back a year after I was stabbed with Siska in the thigh, back, had my skull dented and needed metal therapy for a while. I'm 15 years old, and I'm doing great at the time of this post. Semicolon. FYI, it was a South African private school. I got bullied for wearing high waters. To this day, I still don't know what they are. Flood pants, maybe? That was a huge bullying point when I was a kid. If your pants rode up above your ankle, even when sitting, you had flood pants, and were the subject of relentless mockery. I was bullied and called gay because I had a best friend. I used to get bullied for reading outside of assigned books in school. I had a copy of Around the World in 80 Days that I was reading during lunch in 3rd grade, and one of the boys yanked it out of my hands and threw it in the big garbage can where everyone tossed their leftovers. My nipples were too small. I'm a guy. My new sneakers not being new enough. When I was a kid I got bullied a lot by this one kid named Miguel growing up. His family was a lot better off and spoiled him, buying him the latest shoes, starter jackets, video games, etc. He was always showing it off and especially liked to rub it into my face. My parents both worked 2 jobs to try and provide a decent life for me growing up, but money was tight. Most of my clothes I either got from the thrift store or they were hand-me-downs from my older cousins. I remember one day my parents decided to treat me and take me to the Nike outlet and get a pair of brand new sneakers. This was the first pair of shoes I had in a long time that were *ALL mine and never worn by anyone else. I remember being so excited to wear them to school and walked into the classroom with a big smile that day. Miguel takes one look at my shoes and says, "Nice new old shoes. I had a pair of those last year when they were cool." With a few words he completely crushed the happiness high I was riding and brought me down instantly. Miguel. Littering. They bullied me for complaining about their littering. I got picked on for the normal things. I'm a heavyset guy so obviously I got called fat that, but I wouldn't call it bullying. I'm fat, to be fair. I do have a funny story about a ridiculous bullying thing that my buddy ran into. We were sitting in class and a group of jocks were picking on my buddy and me. Normal stuff. Then, when my buddy stood up to one of them, the bully apparently lost his mind. Now, keep in mind my friend had a yellow spot on his tooth because the blood vessels run shallow there. My mom has the same thing. It's totally normal. So, we'll call him Zed says to my friend, "Don't touch me freaking butter tooth." Immediately, all his clique turned on him. It was like sharks all killing the weak one. They all started laughing there. Often started making fun of Zed. Buttertooth. What the hell kind of an insult is that? It's not even an insult. He can't control if he has a yellow spot on his tooth. Speaking of being a loser, why don't you ever bench at the gym? All you do is sit-ups. Sure you have a six-pack, but your arms are toothpicks. They spent the next 10 minutes berating him about his physical fitness, appearance, behavior, and intelligence. It was hilarious. He shut up after that. It was the 90s so everything and everyone was gay by default, but the reason they called me that was because I was skinny. It didn't help that I lived in what was at the time one of the top 20 fattest counties in America. I was in the gifted/talented class, otherwise known as the nerd herd. I moved in during 5th grade. At my previous school it was cool to be in G/T. At my new school it was horrible. Life from 5 to 8 grades was both terrible, and also where I met some of my closest friends. I was bullied, because I didn't know that queer meant anything other than odd. I grew up with much older parents, went to boarding school age 7 to 11, didn't hear a swear word until I was 12. I had a life wrapped in cotton wool, and the only time I'd heard the word queer was to describe something as odd. I went to a normal state school, UK, when I was 12, and stuck out like a sore thumb. Clipped posh English accent amongst the local accent. I got picked on. But by far the worst was when I said something was queer, and two older girls heard me. They made my life hell for a few months, and I had to report them. My parents got a letter home stating that I had bullied the girls. Homophobic bullying was the exact phrase. Bizarre, especially at this point. I didn't even know what gay was. Luckily my parents ignored it and didn't believe I was bullying anyone. Ended up okay, they moved on to someone else. And I came out as a lesbian 7 years later. My friends still find it hilarious that I was reported for homophobic bullying for using the word queer. In 2nd grade, I misspelled my last name on the very first assignment. This caused my teacher to mispronounce my name when returning said assignment. Not in a funny way or anything. It didn't, like, create a new meaning or sound like a different word. Just a simple mispronunciation. I was teased for the next 4 years about it. Kids just chanting my mispronounced name at me. It didn't bother me at first. I thought they sounded dumb making a joke about nothing. But their persistence paid off and it really got to after a while. It just stopped in 6th grade. No reason. Just stopped. This entire thread is evidence that no matter what you do, who you are, and why you are who you are, people will always find a way to make fun of you. I was very likely bullied at age 12 by 2 other 12-year-olds who thought I didn't swear correctly. It's you not UD. Got bullied because of my height in grade school. Nobody ever paid any attention to me until one of the popular girls stated I was cute. The jocks did not like that too much. Jokes on them though. I married that girl after high school D. Cinnamon infused toothpicks back in 6th grade. The cool kids had toothpicks soaking for months. They laughed and made fun of my weak old toothpicks, and then they shunned me. I was bullied by girls because I prefer DJ Snake more than BTS, so they started calling me gay, and you have poor choice of music. I preferred to stay away because lack of sten is a symptom of COVID. When I was about 8 years old I was at home bored one day. I decided to take a look at this pocket knife my parents had bought as a thank you gift for one of the people at the after school program I was attending. I opened up the tools one by one to check them out, and when I got to the knife I wasn't paying attention, and ended up closing it on my thumb. At first I thought it was nothing, but then blood started pouring out, and I realized it was a bad cut, and started to panic. I ran to the bathroom, and started screaming for my dad who was outside working on the car. I ran water over my thumb, but the blood just kept coming and coming. Eventually my dad came, calmed me down, and had me put pressure on it. It was a pretty deep cut, but he didn't think I needed to go to the hospital. By the time my mom got back everything was okay, and I was just a little shaken. She banged me up really well, and then went to Walgreens for something. When she came back she had a box of finger cots, which I had never seen before. She put one on my thumb, and told me it would help me heal faster by keeping the bandage in place. She had me wear it to school the next day, and I was all ready to tell my classmates about how crazy the cut was, and how badly I was bleeding. I was young, and had no idea what a condom was, or even what it was used for, so I was very naive. However, the kids that liked to bully me weren't, and soon as they saw my thumb they screamed out, "Edgar's got a condom on his finger." Either everyone but me knew what a condom was, or people were just going along with it, because the entire class started laughing at me. I was so embarrassed, I ran to the bathroom crying, and ripped off the finger cot. When I got home that night I asked my mom why she would do that to me, and her excuse was that she didn't think anyone would even know what a condom was, and it was going to help me heal faster. She didn't make me wear it to school again, but the damage was already done, and I was made fun of that for a while. I got bullied for being a passive black kid in middle school between 2011 to 2013. These three guys, white, started it off by relating me to black stereotypes. They would say things like my favorite food must be fried chicken, that I must run fast, or that I must have a big sklang lol. These did not really bother me that much, but the more they said it, the more annoyed and uncomfortable I got. One time, I got annoyed by them saying it. They saw the serious look on my face, and they said, "It was just a joke, bro." I thought, maybe they are just joking. Maybe I am just being too sensitive. Since then, I would nervously chuckle whenever they said these things, but the bullying just got worse. In history class, we were learning about the Jim Crow laws and racism in the 1950s. So these guys started using those new racist terms towards me to see my reaction. They would sometimes call me a Negro. They would sometimes call me a pickaninny, and try to get me to imitate the image, which I refused. Even when I drank from the water fountain they would pretend to be disgusted, so they would then drink from another water fountain. Eventually, they started calling me the N-word, with the "ro." I was shocked. I wasn't nervously giggling, like I did before, but they continued to call me it, because they found my shocked reaction funny. Some of my other classmates would hear it, and they were shocked as well, but because of my passive behavior, they eventually started calling me the N-word too to see my reaction. Those guys pretty much influenced most of my classmates in middle school to call me the N-word for the giggles. Worst part of it all, they even influenced my best friends to call me the N-word. One time, one of my best friends, I'll say his name is Michael, Asian, accidentally said it too loud and my teacher, white, overheard it. My teacher got angry and called Michael outside the class to scold him. Eventually, my teacher called me outside the class with Michael to ask for context. I practically begged my teacher to not punish Michael, because he was my best friend. My teacher was really confused as to why I was defending a person who just called me the N-word, but he just let it slide, because I did not want Michael to get in trouble. The part that hurt me the most though was when I was picking up iPads from another homeroom class. A female classmate, who is my neighbor at home, Susan, was confused as to why I was in her homeroom class. But then she proceedingly joked by saying, "Go back to Africa." She said it loud enough to where most of the back of the class heard it, but the front of the class didn't hear it or including the teacher. The class shouted, "Ooh." I do not know why that hit me so hard back then. I almost cried right on the spot. This whole passive-aggressive racism just made me really depressed in middle school, and it absolutely killed my self-esteem in high school and onward. Not to mention, there were other black kids in my middle school, but they did not pull that racist crap towards them, because they knew they would get beaten lol. I jumped over the legs of the prep clique, while they were blocking the path. This caused a pad to fall out of my pocket. They told everyone. We were all female middle schoolers. My dad had just gotten back from PCS overseas. I, in 6th grade at the time, hadn't seen him in 2 years, because the army kept him there for 2 years. He finally came back in 6th grade, and surprised me by coming to my school for lunch. I saw him, while in line going to the cafe, and about broke the world record for the 40-yard dash to jump up and hug him. Normally this is normal in schools on base, however we lived off base where I went to school off base. Was relentlessly mocked for this, and earned the title of Daddy's boy. Got so bad, that my parents had me move schools. I lived in a house with well water that would stain everything orange from the iron. I'm blonde. It made my hair darker. One time I had my hair washed and cut at the salon and my hair was much lighter, I assume because a stain was washed away using good water. I went to school the next day and a bunch of girls bullied me because I bleached my hair and I was fake. I was also then accused of stuffing my bra because I had a C cup at 13 years old. Looking back at my middle school pictures, I realized that I was being bullied because I was very pretty. So, those s. Talking to a girl someone was interested in and got bullied. She was a neighbor, a girl I knew my whole life. I passed by her house and she and a guy our age were talking in the driveway. I walked up to say hi. I was in a sling from a baseball injury. Her friend starts pushing me and trips me and I fall. I get up and told him I couldn't believe he is picking on me while I can't defend myself and he would pay. I got better and kicked his. Then we became friends. I was bullied for wearing the color black. They would throw Bibles at my head and call me a demon. I was a kid who liked Star Wars, so I wore Star Wars shirts. That's when it started. 2 decades later, those who did the bullying are suddenly huge fans and wear vintage style shirts in their social media profile photos. Well then. I was bullied a lot, so I'm sure I was an awkward kid and an easy target. I got bullied having hairy arms, hairy legs, for talking white, etc. But one time I wanted attention, and for some reason I told kids at a camp I was at that I didn't brush my teeth, and I got bullied for that. Lol, I have no idea why I did that. I was bullied for being raped by my classmate's crush. He was a 16-year-old who got the opportunity to rape me, a drunk/high 13-year-old. Apparently she was jealous. I found the whole experience rather traumatic tbh. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.